Kung Fu Cowboy, tennis shoes
Kung
on
Fu
my
Cowboy here, and we're still dishing out the singles, the Kung Fu Cowboy singles. Got a notebook here with, dividers. Remember, I'm an old notebook kind of guy, so this is, to me, is a lot nicer than having it on my computer. I can handle it, I can look, I can flip it around. I like it more than a PDF on my computer. Although PDFs on the computer are nice and easy to read, but this is cool. So anyway, the next song, number 4, what are we on? Single number 5 is Woke is Awake. All right, this is the beginning, the first time. Well, Dogecoin, actually. That's not true. I wrote Dogecoin, I recorded it, and released it. And maybe that's the first one. And now this song, Woke is Awake. I wrote it. Then I said, no, this is recorded and get it out there. I felt like it was somehow pertinent and might cause a little controversy. In fact, actually, my brother David actually inspired me to do this. I actually wrote a couple other videos, which I haven't recorded and released. I've just done videos like Patriot Trader. my family's Republicans and racists, so they don't appreciate. Anyway, we're the opposite. Let's put it that way. And like they say sometimes, oh, we know how you think. That's what they say about me. So they don't argue with me. They know that I'm. In fact, they've actually said a few things about me where they think I'm wacky, for thinking the way I do. And one time I was saying, well, this is probably not. I was talking to one of my other brothers, and he said. He goes, I mentioned to him that this is probably not the proper way to think it. Oh, yeah, I know how you think it. I'm a goody two-shoes, liberal, Republican, bleeding heart or whatever. And I said, well, you kind of jump into a conclusion here. It ended up, I said what I said, and he 100% agreed with me. So, it's not like I'm totally this way or that way. I kind of can cross the fence on certain issues. But the point being is this song, Woke is Awake, is, and by the way, the word is in the middle is capitalized. In the original lyrics, I noticed a while ago that I had made it lowercase, which is probably what it was supposed to be, woke, and then small I-S, and then capital letter A and then awake. But when I released the single, I honestly, even though I know that, I feel like the titles sometimes, they don't look like titles unless everything's in capital letters. So I tend to be inclined to want to make the in the middle of several words. I want to make it a capital the. Like the word of, peace of mind. If it's a title, should all 3 words be capital letters on the first letter? So I know what proper grammar is, but these are different situations. They're not just writing in a paragraph in a book. So anyway, woke is awake, and the I is a capital letter. That kind of surprised me when I realized that. So, but that's, like I said, you can understand. I was kind of leaning that way, but I wrote it properly in the beginning, so I had to change it on the original lyric sheet. Oh, and that's something interesting. When I do write my lyric sheets nowadays, if you can see all these signatures, I have 6 signatures, and did I even put a date? Sometimes I forget to put the date, like on this one. I usually date it and sign it. But there's no way, nobody's going to forge 6 signatures by me. I'm Richard Del Conner, and then my initials. I'm the Kung Fu Cowboy logo, or the Hippie Coyote logo, and then I signature, and then I've got the Kung Fu Cowboy signature, which is a picture of a guy in a cowboy hat that I can draw in 5 strokes. How many strokes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 strokes. And then I've got my Chinese name written in Chinese calligraphy, which might be hard for people to recognize. And then I got my Buddha Z signature, which is actually a B inside of a Z. And it took me a while to design it. It took me, I actually became Buddha Z back in 2013, I think, is when I started using that. Yeah, 2013 is when I started using that name. Maybe before that, but really, I published a book under the name Buddha Z, so I was totally using it. And so but I didn't create the signature until I moved here. So it took me 10 years to kind of get my signature down, or 5 or 6. But anyway, I came up with my signature, and I'm looking at it here. And then, yeah, that's the Buddha Z logo signature. Okay. Anyway, so those are the original lyrics. And, and this song I made a cool video. You got to find the video. It has all of these pages that I made, and the song plays, and I kind of like flip the pages, as it goes along. And it's really cool. I have no sense really flipping through them right now because I got the video. Go see the video. but it's got all these pictures and graphics and lyrics. It's kind of like that Bob Dylan one where he's got those lyrics and he's holding up these words and throwing down the cards. So that was partly my inspiration for doing this. And I got some good reviews on it, but it's called Woke is Awake. And so what the heck does that mean? So maybe I should just read you a few of the lyrics. Here they are. It says, if you aren't woke, then you're asleep. If you're asleep, you're in a dream. Dreams can imagine immigrants on the moon or invite fears of aliens, from other planets descending soon. Woke means that your eyes are open in search of the true facts. The deep state wants to keep you in a deep sleep where fear and slogans provide panic attacks. Remember, that's what they control people. The whole Republican Party is based on hate and fear. Hate and fear, not love, not compassion. Hate and fear. Now, the Democrats are focusing on the love and compassion. They have compassion towards people of other races and people of other religions and people of other sexual interests. So compassion. They're willing to be compassionate. Republicans, zero. Hatred and prejudice. And then, anyway, so totally different. Our country's totally polarized. Either you're an evil, hateful person, or you're a compassionate person, who's trying to be. Anyway, I'm right now, since I got to support the Democrats, because the Republicans are trying to destroy the country and the voting rights. They have passed more than 1,000 laws in the last 4 years, the Republicans have, to restrict voting rights, to make it harder to vote. They are so undemocratic. It's unbelievable that our country has become so polarized. We got these people who want to destroy our country and take away everything that's good and give it only to the rich people. And then we got these other people who want everybody to be happy, and they can't understand how to fight these evil people without becoming evil. How do you fight an evil person? They're attacking you and throwing rocks and sticks and hitting you. And, how can you be a nice person back and win? And that's the problem. That's why the Democrats are losing. These guys are yelling and screaming more. And all those people who are below the halfway mark in grades, all the D's and F people, students, they love football and violence and cars crashing and murder and mayhem and violence. And so, as far as they're concerned, fighting against their fellow man is just a sport. Just like football teams that fight against each other. They're all Americans, but they're enemies when they're on the field. And unfortunately, a lot of people can do that. Now, Buddha said it only takes two things to be ignorant or evil. In other words, if a person is going to be an evil person, he only has two requirements: greed and ignorance. That's it. I'm pretty sure. I'll go back and read my books, but I don't quote them a lot. So if I quoted them more often, I could be more reassured. But greed and ignorance. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at all the Trump people and you interview them, and God, they're so dumb. I feel I don't want to even pity them. I'm just like I want to, kind of like a lot of my neighbors. I just want to let them exist, and I don't want to be aware of it. But when they start imposing their ignorance on everybody else, then that's when things are like they are now. But anyway, if you look at those people, their greed is they want something. They think that Trump's going to give them something, that something's going to be better for them. They're their savior, their Jesus, their finances. They're going to get better health care, which is a lie. They're going to get better this, which is a lie. They're going to get better. They lie to these people too, and they're too dumb to know it, which is really a shame. But anyway, it's just such a shame that dumb people can cause so much trouble. But the ignorance is given to them. Like they were told, they're ignorant of American politics because the Republicans lied to them. They said that the whatever it is, the voting was rigged. It wasn't. But these people are ignorant, and they're so ignorant that they'll believe lies. They're not smart enough to know the difference between a truth and a lie. And I got to be compassionate about that. I don't want to be hurtful to them because my relatives are a lot of those people. I hear them saying things. It's like, oh my God! I years ago I tried to even talk to them, but I can't. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to argue. They just want to believe what sounds good. You say something good. We're going to have a better health plan. That's it. They believe it. Oh, no. I told my brother, I'm really scared that Trump's going to take away. Oh, no, don't worry about it. Trump's going to have a better health plan. It's going to be better. How do they know that? Why do they think that? They're so dumb that somebody told them that they're going to have a better health plan, and they believe it, even though they're being lied to. How many years has it been? Almost 8 years, and they still don't have that plan? They were just lying. They're just pulling the rug out. They're just... But anyway, all those people who are D students and F students and C minus, I guess, they can't tell the difference between a truth and a lie. And they're just ignorant. So ignorant people become evil very easily. They're smart people who can be... But they're usually ignorant of something else, like repercussions or compassion or something. Maybe, I'm not sure I'd put it on them. But ignorant people are easiest to become evil. And then all they need is greed. You got to offer them a beer, money, a lie. And that's all it takes. Just a reward and a lie, and you got an evil person. That's all it takes. So that's why our world is, hell. This planet is like hell, because there's all these people just ready to turn to evil. Boom, just like that. All you got to do is lie to them, make them a promise, give them some money. Boom, they're evil. Pay them some money, they go kill somebody. Do this. I mean, it's just... Anyway. All right, Woke is Awake. When was this one released? This was released this year, February 19th. I did it just recently. So we're catching up to reality. We're catching up to my current reality. So February 19th, 2024, I released Woke is Awake. And the composer and lyricist is me, Richard D'Connor. The label, ShaolinRecords.com. Go there, ShaolinRecords.com. The publisher is ShaolinMusic.com. I haven't looked at that site in 15 years, but go there. I put a lot of work into it. I just haven't updated it. There's something there. Go check it out. There's some music samples, or there might, like I said, I think I got some samples and things you can download. You might like it. I don't know. Tell me if you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine. Just let me know either way. But go there, check it out. The primary genre of this song, Woke is Awake, is pop and 60s pop. And the second is rock and 60s rock. I told you I'm stuck in the 60s. The mood is upbeat, and it sounds like Bob Dylan, because remember, he kind of inspired the card thing too. John Lennon and the Rolling Stones. And that's kind of true. And I think that's pretty accurate. So that's Woke is Awake. So you want to get Woke is Awake by Kung Fu Cowboy. And then you'll be a cool person. I was just thinking, how can I make somebody evil? I don't know how to make anybody evil. All I do is help people. I improve people's lives. That's why I don't have any students. They come to me and they say, I got this problem. I fix it. I got this addiction. I break their addiction. I got this. I went through chemotherapy. I put them back in good shape. I fix everybody. And then they leave. I need to sell a lifestyle, I can fix everybody's problems, make them healthier, make them happier. I can even make people smarter. Of course, like my kids, I made them A students, and they went down 3 grade levels when I left. So that's how much I can improve your life. But that's why I'm making the videos. I'm making the 800 Tai Chi videos, which is just the beginner program. It's a 4-year program. But if I can make... Actually, I take that back. I think the 800 videos is all of them. I hope. I have to look at it again. I've stopped making them, since I had my hip surgery this year. So I haven't making the videos this year. But last year, I finished the first semester of the first year. And the first year is 3 semesters. So it's a white sash. And I finished the white sash program. So you do that, you'll get a white sash plus 1 red stripe. And then you take the next program and you get a white sash plus 2 stripes. Then you graduate that and you get a yellow sash. And you're in the intermediate level. That's where you start Shaolin Kung Fu. Then there's 2 levels in that. You get a yellow sash and a 1 red stripe and a yellow sash plus 2 red stripes. And then you graduate that and you get more Kung Fu. And really cool stuff. You get all the stuff that Bruce Lee knew too. You're gonna know all the Kung Fu that Bruce Lee ever learned, except for the Wing Chun, which you get through You'll get that in all my other Shaolin Kung Fu anyway. Because remember, Wing Chun was supposedly a Shaolin female monk who was hiding on a boat, and so she created a Kung Fu style that you could do on a boat. That's the important factor. This is the best Kung Fu to fight on a boat. On land, well, that's a different story. Because there's no kicking. On a boat, you can't do kicking or you'll fall down. There's only like 2 little kicks, which are like to block somebody else from kicking. But there's no kicks, because if you do that, you'll fall down and you lose on a boat, wiggling around or whatever. Or fall overboard. So you want to keep your feet on the ground. Wing Chun. Good advice. Good boat fighting. The best boat fighting style is probably still Wing Chun. I'd be willing to say that. But who lives on a boat? Who's going to fight on a boat? Not too many people. That's why you have your knees in. I actually tested it. I fought in a canoe. I had some of my students out. We went out on boats and we practiced and we tested some of the Kung Fu and the praying mantis. And we did discover that by being pigeon-toed and turning your nays in gives you better balance in a canoe. And so we were there doing pushing hands and little basic techniques on each other. And the Wing Chun stance works. I would never use it on the ground, on solid ground, but it actually worked in a canoe. That's why I say in the song, I'll fight you in a canoe with Wing Chun and praying mantis, because we really did it. That's a true story. Like I said, there's all kinds of hidden stuff in those lyrics, but that's truth. There's real truth in there. But anyway, anything else I'm going to tell you? Hey, I made it to 15 minutes. Okay, Kung Fu Cowboy out of here. What am I selling? I'm selling the single song by Kung Fu Cowboy, Woke, is awake. All right? So listen to it. See if it inspires you to be awake. I don't even know. I haven't been able to get anybody to tell me what woke means in this wokeism. It's just, once again, they're spreading fear. You know, it doesn't mean anything, really. If it means anything, it's good. A woke person is more concerned about what's going on. Maybe they're not making the right choices, but they're looking to help everybody. Woke is about being aware of more things. The opposite of woke is asleep, and these people don't want to help people. They don't want to do things. So I would rather be woke than whatever these other people are, because the people who are against woke are really the dummies, the real evil, corrupt, swamp politicians anyway. So that right there means that woke must be good. If the evil, corrupt politicians are saying that woke is bad, then it must be good. Woke is Awake by Kung Fu Cowboy.
All right, I just wrote this song. This is the first time I'm going to play it. Let's see what happens. Woke is awake. If you aren't woke, then you're asleep. If you're asleep, you're in a dream. Dreams can imagine immigrants on the moon, or inside fears of aliens descending soon. Oh, means that your eyes are open. In search of the true facts, the deep state wants to keep you in a deep, deep sleep, where fear and slogans provide Fox panic attacks. Woke is awake, better than asleep. Into your dreams, Republicans creep. Yeah, whoa. When my cat is ruled by fear, he'll run straight into the street. Yeah, he will. Republicans believe that the lies you hear will keep your logic. They must be feed. Your vote is awake, better than asleep. Into your dreams, Republicans creep. Oh no, to guide you to join their bribed